I used to be a plain, ordinary film critic, but somehow weird stuff started happening around me. I found a childhood toy who rules an underground kingdom from out of my basement. I got a weird AI friend living in my TV. I fought a giant straight out of a kid's storybook and met a magical winter elf. But right now, I'm being forced to complete a checklist of TV and movie genres so I can save all of existence with the power of snarky film commentary. It's Reckoning Day, which means no matter how bad things get, we have something to look forward to.
So if the movie stars Nicolas Cage?
I wouldn't worry about it.
What if it is a public domain movie with a chimp?
No problemo. Now might be a good time to mention that I have a great documentary on sea lions. We gotta draw the line someplace.
I take it this enthusiasm means we can expect a very short opening without a lot of wasted time.
I don't see why not. Our story begins with this clown.
Jess, this is outer space. This isn't Get Up and Go with Ronald.
No, it's not. I have no fucking clue what this is.
It's Benji, Zax, and the Alien Prince.
What? What the f***?
Oh boy, it's time for one of my favorite parts of the show.
By the power of Jonathan Frakes' beard, please don't say a history segment.
A history segment.
I'm with Nick. We don't need a...
Back in 1974, before Air Bud was even a twinkle in Hollywood's eye, a little-known screenwriter, producer, and director named Joe Camp thought he found the cutest, smartest, nicest, most well-behaved puppy in the whole world.
Wait, don't you say the exact same thing about Gizmo?
Have you seen our bloopers reels? I would never call Gizmo well-behaved.
Matt, please don't distract him. Everyone hates these goddamn things.
Through his various connections, Camp was able to get enough money for a single movie. Benji. To the surprise of everyone, it was a huge hit. It made $45 million against a $500,000 budget. Do you know what other movies came out in 1974?
Blazing Saddles.
Yes, but not the one I was thinking of. Young Frankenstein. No, The Godfather Part 2. Not really my kind of movie, but most critics regard it as the greatest movie sequel ever made. During its original run, Godfather 2 made $48 million. $3 million more than Benji, but against a $13 million budget. Nick, I need some help here with some math.
Okay, but that's not really my thing. Don't worry, I've got an app for that.
Okay, Godfather 2 made $48 million but cost $13 million to make. So 48 divided by 13. So for every dollar they put into it...
They made $3.69.
Okay, and Benji made $45 million, but only cost $500,000 to make, so...
They got $90 back for every dollar they put in.
Right. There you have it, folks. Numbers don't lie. Benji was more profitable than The Godfather Part 2. So yeah, Camp was going to make more movies.
I'm pretty sure they made another chapter of The Godfather after this.
No, they didn't. If you use this show to spread your dirty lies, I'll...
Let me guess. I'll wake up in bed next to a horse's head.
Ah, ah, ah.
You said it, not me.
Ahem. Camp's next movie, Hops, in 1976 was sort of a dud. I guess camels don't have the same appeal with kids as a dog, but 1977's For the Love of Benji was another hit. So over the next decade, this led to a whole string of Benji movies, TV specials, and even a video game. The franchise lasted so long that at least 3 dogs of the Benji family line were used throughout the original series.
That explains why Benji got his own show. But what it doesn't explain is, well, look at the cover. It's got a robot and a kid in B-movie space pajamas.
Well, Hanna-Barbera had been experimenting with live-action shows as far back as 1968, but none of them were a success. CBS was all in on this Benji show, but they went with the lowest bidder. Hanna-Barbera did what Hanna-Barbera always did.
Make a show about a group of mystery-solving teens and a rocking rogue?
Surprisingly, no. They took a look at the property the network wanted them to use and mixed in whatever was big in pop culture at the time. This was 1983. Some of the biggest movies of the time were Return of the Jedi and Superman 3.
Oh boy.
Okay, can we get started now?
Yeah, our story begins with the opening credits, which tells us the backstory for the show. Dark Helmet has ordered the Phantom Zone criminals to comb the desert looking for Prince Yubi and his robot caretaker, Zax.
Meanwhile, they land outside Smallville, Kansas, where he's adopted by Benji. The camp farm looks like it's been deserted since the Great Depression. Prince Yubi is cooking an egg with his solar oven, but Zax hovers about and knocks stuff over. He apologizes for being such a klutz and tells Benji not to make any wise-ass comments.
How does Benji make comments?
Says the guy with an AI that can translate dog thoughts.
Yeah, but Gizmo is never mean. Getting insulted by a dog? That's kinda rough.
Prince Yubi is too hungry to wait for the oven to be fixed. So he sticks the egg in his mouth and eats it. And I don't mean cracking the egg and slurping the yolk like some 1950s bodybuilder. I mean he eats the egg, shell and all, which is gross. The effect isn't that great. He wouldn't fool Penn and Teller.
Zax tells Yubi that Benji knows where to get a new reflector. He'll take the pup for a walk, and it'll be a 5-minute thing. Yubi says Benji will have to go alone because it's not like one of them looks human, apart from wearing a pair of pajamas at the Tokusatsu show.
Zack says, some of us take pride in the fact that we don't look Terran. Have you seen some of the animals around here? Zax? Taking cheap shots at someone's appearance is rich coming from a guy who looks like Mayor McCheese got assimilated by the Borg.
Benji moseys into town. If they need a new reflector, he's not coming back until they find one, because he's a good boy.
Zax, on the other hand, went to the Starscream School of Obedience. He realizes that it's bad enough that Benji gets top billing, but he will not be upstaged by a dog. So when Yubi turns his back, he decides to go on the mission with Benji.
But he arrives long afterward. Then again, Zax has to deal with traffic and not being seen. Benji just walks into town. Not only that, he's the only unleashed dog I've ever seen who uses a crosswalk.
Benji walks by a store where a shopkeeper is harassing a homeless lady to leave his property. She would probably leave on her own accord if she weren't starving. It's not like they don't sell food at a farm supply shop, or we don't live in a country that throws away about 30% of our food supply.
Benji barks at the guy and he stops. The old lady says, "Hey Benji, I think I've got a ham bone for you." But then General Zod and Ursa show up, so Benji has to skedaddle.
We cut to Funland Arcade where Zod asks, "Have you seen this boy?" No offense, but I think you're in the wrong movie. The arcade manager doesn't notice. He says the kid could be literally hiding anywhere. There are abandoned barns, junkyard, whorehouses, meth labs, and if worse comes to worse, he could always go hide at school.
Benji tells Zack that he saw the bad guys. Zack doesn't believe him and goes to check. He gets spotted right away. Nice going.
Well, at least Zax had the sense not to take the direct route. He and Benji go on a tour of the back roads of Austin.
Ah, yes. Austin, Texas, the Baltimore of the Southwest. But it looks more like the set of Sanford and Son.
Oh, so that's why I can't find Ernest. Know what I mean?
Zax crashes into a car and gets whatever the equivalent of an 80s robot getting a concussion is. So I'm guessing he needs to change the tape in his Commodore 64?
Zax says to go save the prince. I have always been and always will be your... No, I haven't! Go away! Benji must think Zax is a giant piece of poop because he covers him up with a newspaper.
Benji makes it back to the barn. Right as Prince Yubi is fixing the solar cooker, Benji knocks it over again. So he's already pissed off. Yubi sees that Benji has come back alone and says, "Did you leave Zack to die again?" Now, I don't speak canine, but I'm pretty sure Benji was thinking, what do you expect? I'm a dog.
They flee the barn and head right to Camp Crystal Lake. Boris and Natasha come in and search the place, but only find solar cooker. Remember, in Soviet Russia, solar cooker cooks you.
They're still in hot pursuit of Benji and the titular alien prince. Benji leads Yubi back to where he hid Zax, but he's gone. So they head to town. Benji asks the old lady if she can help. Yubi says if you took 2 seconds to stop eating that ham bone, you would see that she can barely help herself. She's as useful to us as correct information to Elon Musk.
But, turns out, she had Zax the whole time.
Yubi gets cornered by the bad guys, and I get a real stranger danger vibe. Next thing you know, Cool Cat's gonna show up.
Yubi tries to escape, but trips over her bucket. Space Fawn's Madonna harass the homeless lady. They spot Zax. They smack the old lady and grab him before driving off. Yubi apologizes for being a dick earlier, but she tries to console him. She says she has nothing but time to listen. Well, that and syphilis.
Benji chases after the van. I've had dogs most of my life, so I don't find that too surprising. The fact that he almost catches it, on the other hand.
Benji tracks the villains to their hideout, which looks like the world's worst Airbnb. The AC isn't working, so they left the windows open. Benji does what any dog would do. He knocks over some trash to lure the villains outside. He then goes in to untie Zax, which is impressive because he doesn't have any opposable thumbs.
David Hasselhoff and Debbie Harry chase Benji and Zax out to the parking lot where they meet up with Yubi. Zax shoots the van's tires, but the baddies keep chasing them on foot. The homeless lady acts as a distraction and they all make a smooth getaway. Then Benji, Zax, and Yubi say their goodbyes and reenact the ending of every episode of Highway to Heaven. And that's it. That's the episode.
Yes! Wait, you're giving this a passing grade?
Well, yeah. Up here, I know this show is bad, but it's hard to explain. I had forgotten this show existed. It was sort of a misremembered dream. But I was walking around the local youth book place and I saw these DVDs on the shelf. It all started flooding back.
Nothing about this show makes any sense. It's Benji and outer space. But why?
Why? Because Benji is awesome and outer space is awesome, so f you.
Aren't you the cynical one that always complains about pacing? This show feels like it had two production companies that wanted a simple Saturday morning show, and the other wanted a show so bloated that it could chop it into 5-minute chunks and repackage it for weekday syndication.
Like Hanna-Barbera would ever do something like that.
Hey Nick, any luck getting that McDonald's show up and running?
Give me an hour. Maybe you guys should go get lunch or something.
Sounds good to me.
How come you guys get full-size meals and we have to share a Happy Meal?
Maybe because at your size, a Happy Meal is enough for one of you for a week.
Come on, man. Get the video working already.
Right? I think I got it.
Can I finish my McFlurry first?
All right.
Our story begins
Mind
with...
if I mention something first?
Go right ahead.
To make things easier on you, we usually watch media with the captioning on. How come the languages are always English, Spanish, and French? It's rarely anything else.
Because this is McKids Adventures Get Up and Go with Ronald. It's not like you haven't experienced it until you've read it in the original Klingon.
Okay, then back to what you were doing.
Our story begins with this logo, which is totally not trying to be McMarvel Studios. It continues with this theme song, Who Wants to See McKids TV?
Not me. This is an endless McDonald's infomercial.
Too bad, because, we're watching it. Look, I watched King Arthur and the Knights of Justice back in the day, but this is the most aggressively 90s kids TV theme song ever.
Which is really weird, since this was made in 2006.
Anyway, the McKids, Dylan, Max, Isabella, Allie, Happy, Sleepy, Bashful, Dopey, and Kim all introduced themselves.
Where do you think those kids are now?
One of them made it big in real estate. Another is now a dental hygienist. Another made a failed political bid to unseat Mayor McKids, and one of them fell victim to the curse of most child stars.
Ronald shows up and says, "Here I come," and,
That's what she said.
Then he asks, "What do you think of my unicycle?" when he is clearly holding a skateboard. The kids correct him and say, "We've got a lot we want to do today." They want to try out their new wheels. But maybe Ronald could unicycle before he snorkels.
Too bad he can't unicycle while he snorkels. It would cut down on the runtime. Or drown him.
Ronald says there are only so many hours in the day. The only fair way to decide what to do would be to use the get up and go wheel. Mwah! Good night, everybody.
Hey, there are other ways to handle it. I would have used the D20.
Ronald spins. He looks at where it lands and says, "You can do any activity that involves wheels."
Does that mean they can roller derby?
Or play ring toss with a bunch of tires?
I'm hoping they run over Ronald with a monster truck.
Like they did to the Fry Guys?
Kim tells Ronald she can't join them. She doesn't know how to roller skate, skateboard, or even ride a bike. He tells her that everyone is good at something. If she could find something that she is good at, then she'll be ready.
Kim must be thinking, there's only one thing that I know how to do well, and I've always been told you only can do what you know how to do well, and that's be you. Be what you like. Be like yourself.
In order to figure out what Kim is good at, Ronald says they'll have to try new activities.
Isn't that how Ronald got kicked out of the Catholic Church?
No. He served Big Mac, meat and dairy, during Lent.
That tracks. I mean, Ronald always did strike me as a cafeteria Catholic.
Then, what the f***? Ronald just pulls a warp zone out of the ground. Must have borrowed it from one of the Super Mario Happy Meals. Ronald then tells the kids when they reach the other side, his friend Jumping Jackie will teach them how to stretch before exercising.
Come on, we all know Ronald can bend reality. I mean, he had talking shoes, talking food, he was friends with a space alien, and had the fucking moon serenade him to sleep every night on the piano.
Then we get another song. Ho, 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 lot of fun. Really? Why is this video designed for kids age 2 to 5 filled to the brim with Mick innuendo?
Jumping Jackie is not what I expected. This is not an enraged Joe Pesci. This is a remarkable improvement. Yeah, this was pre-Me Too era, so it's pretty clear she was hired so the casting director could see her jump.
Yeah, this was 2006. We know why they are talking about exercise being important. Something about a Mick lawsuit and gaining McPounds. A little movie called Super Size Me. But at least they stick to the messaging. Then they pretend to swim because they clearly couldn't afford to rent a pool. And then they move like scarecrows.
You mean like they have no brains?
Yeah, neither do you. You did decide to watch this.
This kid is allergic to hay. I'm allergic to the whole thing. Achoo!
Then they proceed to do leg lunges. It's just a step to the left, and then a step to the right.
Don't forget the pelvic thrust. It'll drive you insane.
Let's do the time warp again. Eventually, they do the monkey. Come on, everybody, do the monkey with me.
No. We aren't doing any more monkey jokes.
Then they're doing the robot. It's my kind of dance, don't get me wrong. Or it would be, if I had limbs. Or if someone would buy me some limbs.
So they're just doing every dance craze now? Wake me up when we get to the electric slide.
Wake me up when it's over.
Wake me up before you go.
Do you remember when this was about going to the park to ride something with wheels? Because this show certainly doesn't. But Pepperidge Farm remembers.
And then we get another scene transition. We're 10 minutes in and we're finally at the park. The kids complain that they don't have their bikes with them. Ronald says, "Don't worry, they're in your backpacks." The kids say, "But we didn't bring them." Then he winks and there they are. Wait a second. The first Happy Meals ever made promoted Star Trek the Motion Picture. Ronald can warp reality, so are we sure he's not a member of the Q Continuum? Just throwing it out there.
I have to applaud something this movie does. Dylan tells the audience he's putting on his bike helmet so that in case he falls over, he can avoid serious injury. And not getting hurt while riding your bike is fun.
I disagree. Without at least the potential for death, how does one appreciate being alive?
Wow, this just got deep.
Wait, magical backpacks. I didn't know they had those in your dimension. What vehicle would you pull out?
Maybe a VW ID Buzz?
The USS Enterprise NCC 1701. No bloody A, B, C, or D.
Wait, that doesn't have any wheels.
Well, the only other use I would have for a magic bag would be, you ever see that Twilight Zone episode, Night of the Meek?
No, can't say that I have.
We should review that for a Christmas episode at some point.
Ronald keeps pulling vehicles out of bags and getting their names wrong.
Ronald, are you alright? Are you still drinking from your cadmium-laced Garfield cup? Those were recalled for a reason, you know.
But, Ronald actually has a point. He hands Kim a scooter and says, "Here is your bike." Then he explains you could learn to balance from riding a scooter, which is good practice for riding a bike.
So, Ronald rides his whatever without a helmet. At least we know he appreciates the human condition.
The kids explain safety again. Then they decide to have a race, but sadly, Dick Dastardly and Muttley aren't invited. Plus, the soundtrack is totally wrong. We get this generic Muzak track.
What were you expecting?
I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride my bike. I want to ride my bicycle. I want to ride it where I like.
Do you really think they could clear the music rights for that?
No, but this song is so pathetic it's been reduced to nanas.
Ah! So they could afford an original song by train.
We get another transition as they say, "Screw it. Taste the rainbow. Ride the rainbow."
I found out long ago. Whoa, there's no escaping Rainbow Road.
Which one is Mario?
They're on the soccer field because it's not like the World Cup was brought to you by... Oh, wait.
Then they ride the pogo sticks and Bouncy balls.
Paul Rubin got arrested for that, right?
Bouncy balls.
No, just no. Why am I getting all the innuendos? They were riding them to the soccer field. I could have been spared your juvenile behavior if they had just walked.
Ronald is lining them up for a soccer match against each other. 2 teams shall enter, 1 shall leave. It's only after they agree to those terms that he tells them how to play.
Wait, isn't he the same guy that doesn't know what a unicycle is? Maybe he isn't the best choice to be a soccer coach.
Kim says she doesn't know how to kick a ball, but Ronald saves the day again. Kim thinks she's horrible at soccer, but considering that none of these kids knew what it was 5 seconds ago, can you really blame her?
And now it's time for another song. One kid starts with, I got 1 ball and I got 2 feet. Do I really have to make a joke here?
Yep.
Fine. I haven't seen rapping this bad since we watched Birdemic.
Hanging out with my family. Ronald asks Kim if she's found an activity she likes yet. She says, yeah, but we need to find a dead raccoon and some formaldehyde.
Ronald then decides it is time to fly, which either means they are about to get high or they just invented the McBean burrito.
Look, I have magic, so of course I can fly. But how are these kids supposed to do it?
Ronald says, look, it's easy. It's just you and the birds and your...
Mom?
No, they're flying kites. Ronald calls Kim's kite flying ability splendiferous.
So, she's a pine tree.
No, that's coniferous, you idiot.
We get an explanation on how to fly a kite. And then another song. At least it's not, do I love you, oh, do I, baby?
It turns out Ronald is not so good with kites. Lucky for him, the kids could show him. Ronald complains about how much he sucks. But Kim tells him everyone is good at something. You just have to find something you're willing to learn enough about to practice and get better.
Then we get to see all the kids' favorite activities. Isabella goes to ballet class. Jamal is learning karate.
Is he learning it because he enjoys it, or because he has to defend himself, since he has almost as much to fear from law enforcement as he does from violent criminals?
We find out Kim is good at something. She's an expert rock climber. This is surprising because she sucked at everything else. Dylan says, much like his namesake, he likes playing music. Hearing himself play is like listening to a record. But who the f*** listens to records anymore?
Ooh, me.
And of course, you have the kid who has their own true crime podcast.
Wait, what?
Come on, apart from me, who doesn't have a true crime podcast?
Okay, good point.
I'm dealing with another signal intrusion. In the meantime, why don't you guys list your favorite activities?
There's only one thing that I like, and that is whistling in the dark. Whistling in the dark. Whistling in the dark. I like Bob. I like Bob. I like Bob.
I like reading.
Print is dead. I collect spores, molds, and fungus.
Revenge.
All of this plays over another song called The Hero Will Be in You? No! Why the f*** does this keep happening to me?
I think the songs were written by a very horny nanny who took the kids to McDonald's so she could get a nap.
Kids are bickering about who rocks the most. Ronald says, you all rock! But Ronald, not exactly the best judge of that.
Is that because he's not hardcore? Because he doesn't play hardcore?
No, that's not it.
Is it because the kids are Milli Vanilli-ing it?
No, the only real evidence you need to prove Ronald is lame is that he plays the guitar.
Says the man who has a drool-stained photo of a Yamaha SHS-10 under his pillow.
Well, anyway, they recap everything from before, and they all decide to dance.
And that's it. That's the episode.
Rap rant time.
The fact that this DVD even exists is baffling. An exercise video with Ronald McDonald, that's sort of like doing a DVD on rational thinking hosted by Alex Jones. Hold on. This is a really, really deep rabbit hole here, folks. You know how some McDonald's have TVs on? Well, these videos first played in the play place.
Well, that explains the quality.
Hold on. I'm not finished. Let me finish. These weren't like the wacky adventures of Ronald McDonald where the VHS tapes and DVDs could be purchased at the McDonald's. No. You had to fork out $12 at places like Target, Walmart, or Best Buy. I got mine at good old Dollar Tree.
I wish I could say that this was the best exercise video for kids I've ever seen, but I can't. I don't think I can even say that this was the best exercise video for kids that I've seen today.
What's that supposed to mean?
90% of Benji's acts in the Alien Prince was Benji running. Can you imagine if they combined the two?
So, get up and go with Benji?
Yeah.
4-year-old me would watch the fuck out of that.
All right. I got the instructions for the reckoning right here.
So, let me guess. Best to worst again?
No, you have to rank the ads and propaganda from most effective to least effective.
Okay, I gave the Captain Crunch DVD a no verdict, but only because it was expensive. It did make me want to eat some Captain Crunch cereal. Get Up and Go with Ronald was a confusing mess, but I don't think it changed my view of the Golden Arches one way or another.
But what about Bible Man?
I went in thinking that most Christians on an individual level were good people. I came out wanting to pummel every evangelical unconscious, crazy glue their eyes shut, and force feed them Chipotle for 3 meals a day for a week. So what does that tell you?
It tells me it's time to wrap things up. What's our next episode?
Don't know. I'm going to go offline until I can create a patch to block this unwanted signal interference. Who knows what your next episode's going to be?
Just wanted us to do a new outro. Do you want to help out, Gizmo? Like and subscribe. Good boy, Gizmo. And remember, to really help this channel grow, visit patreon.com/ParodyErrorFilms and become a patron today.